So good morning once again, dear students of class 9 and also the students who are revising from class 10. Today we will begin with Act 2, Scene 7 of The Merchant of Venice. And on your screen, once again, you can see the scene where the Prince of Morocco has arrived and is in conversation with Portia. Eventually, he goes on to select the wrong casket. We shall see how exactly things happen in this scene now. But before we begin with the scene, let us have a look at the introduction as given in your textbook. So I am scrolling to that particular page. Please take out your textbooks and please open on the page where Act 2, Scene 7 of The Merchant of Venice begins. So you can see on your screen the introduction and the beginning of the scene. Now here, this is the first of the three scenes where a suitor makes his choice of the three caskets. Now we know that the initial 6 princely suitors, they have already decided not to participate in the lottery of the caskets and they have gone back. But now this new suitor whom we have already met in a previous scene is taking his turn in selecting the casket that he thinks should contain Portia's portrait. And this is the Prince of Morocco. We have already been introduced to him. And now this scene presents to us the exact selection process which the Prince of Morocco undergoes. Here the Prince of Morocco is attracted by the gold casket, which says, "Who chooseth me?" On the gold casket, this was inscribed or written, "Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire." He is dazzled by the outward appearance of gold and chooses the wrong casket, which contains a skull. Thus, he loses the lottery and leaves at once with a heavy heart. Portia is relieved of having got rid of a suitor whom she does not like. So, just like the previous 6 suitors, even the Prince of Morocco is someone whom Portia does not like because she is already in love with Bassanio and she and Bassanio had exchanged speechless messages through their eyes, as we have already been told earlier in the opening scene of the play when Bassanio was talking about Portia to Antonio. So now when these princely suitors come one by one, for Portia it is quite difficult to accept any of them. And then the Prince of Morocco, we may not call Portia racist, but then Prince of Morocco is a black African prince, and Portia, being a white Italian girl, does not really approve of him. If she wants to marry someone, she has to be very choosy. She has to be careful. She knows that, but then she cannot choose. She cannot decide upon marrying someone by herself because of her father's will. So anyway, she does not like this suitor, but then she allows him to partake the lottery of caskets. I mean, undertake this selection process or go through this selection process. And he does, and ultimately makes the wrong choice, and that comes as a big relief to Portia. Now, Scene 7, let's begin with the text of the scene, and as we read along, I'll be explaining line by line. I expect all of you to pay attention to the lines and also to refer to the side notes which are provided on the same page. So you can see the page on your screen. In case if you are not following from the textbook, please follow here whatever I am showing you on the screen. Scene 7, Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Flourish of cornets. Enter Portia with the Prince of Morocco and their trains. What are these trains? Trains are group of people who follow a particular dignified, respectable gentleman. So group of people in the sense, since it is the Prince of Morocco, he is a prince. So he has, his attendants, his officers and officials and servants and many such people who are accompanying him, so who are following after him, and the Prince of Morocco, of course. So there is music, and that signifies the arrival of the prince. So Portia gives instructions to maybe one of her servants, or maybe Nerissa, we don't know for sure because she just gives the instruction, and let's see what she is saying. Portia says, "Go, draw aside the curtains and discover the several caskets to this noble prince." So she is instructing somebody to go and draw aside the curtains which are hiding the 3 caskets behind them, and discover. Discover means to reveal. To reveal the several caskets, meaning the 3 caskets, one made of gold, one made of silver, and one made of lead. So reveal the 3 caskets to this noble prince. So nowhere do we see Portia disrespecting the prince. She gives due respect to the prince. Therefore, she refers to him as the noble prince. And then there is a dash, which means now she turns to speak to Morocco. So that last line is spoken to the prince of Morocco. "Now make your choice." Morocco responds, "The first of gold." We can imagine that the prince of Morocco has gone up to the 3 caskets as soon as the curtains have been drawn aside. So he looks at the caskets and he comments, "The first casket is made of gold. Who this inscription bears?" Well, on the gold casket, this is what is written: "Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire." The one who chooses me will achieve what many people want to achieve. "The second, silver, which this promise carries." And on the silver casket, the inscription or the writing etched on it says, "Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves." Okay, so the silver casket says that the one who chooses me shall get as much as he deserves. So according to his deservings, he will get what he deserves. And then we move on to page 70. He moves to the lead casket, and the lead casket, he comments about the lead casket, and this comment of Morocco about the lead casket seals his doom. This comment clearly states that Morocco does not like the lead casket. So he says, "This third dull lead." Imagine how he describes it, dull lead. So from the very beginning we can say that Morocco harbors a dislike for this particular casket. "This third dull lead, with warning all as blunt." And this casket is kind of giving a warning as blunt as possible. "Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath." This is what is written on this dull lead casket, and it is warning me that the one who chooses me must have to give and risk. Hazard means risk. All he has. How shall I know if I do choose the right? He then turns to Portia and says, "How will I know that I am choosing the right casket? Now you have shown me the 3 caskets and you have said I can make my choice, but how will I know which casket is the correct casket? Suppose I choose a casket. How will I know that it is right?" So Portia says, "The one of them contains my picture, Prince. Only one of these 3 caskets has my picture inside it. It's a portrait. Those were not the days of photography, so perhaps an artist had made a portrait of Portia in miniature, small-sized portrait, and this portrait was kept inside one of those 3 boxes. If you choose that, then I am yours, Vidal. If you choose that particular casket inside which you find my picture, then I will be yours along with it." Vidal means along with it, meaning is given alongside. So if you choose the casket which contains my picture, then you have actually achieved me. You will know that you have actually won me, and then I will be yours. Morocco says, "Some god direct my judgment. Let me see. I wish that some god of heaven helps me, directs me to judge. Let me see." Let me see is just casually being said because he's trying to think, he's trying to assess, he's trying to understand. "I will survey the inscriptions back again. I will once again go through the inscribed sentences on these 3 caskets. Whatever is written on them, I'll just go through those once again. What says the leaden casket? Now you can imagine that Morocco started from gold, then he moved to silver, and finally he's standing in front of the lead casket when he is talking to Portia. Now he once again starts inspecting the inscriptions on the caskets. So it is obvious that he will not go back to the gold. He will start from where he is standing. So he starts with the lead casket first. And let's see what is written on it once again. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. One who chooses me must have to give and must have to risk whatever he has. Must give for what? He is asking himself. Must give? For what should I give? For lead? For something as lowly, as dull, as base, inexpensive, something which is so cheap as lead? Hazard for lead? Should I take any risk for lead? This casket threatens. This casket is actually threatening me. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. People who take risks, they take risks because they want to gain something in return. But this casket is not promising me any rich returns. This casket is actually threatening me. So why should I take risk? Why should I take the risk of choosing this casket? No way, I'm not choosing this casket. This is what he's trying to say. A golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. Meaning is explained alongside. Just have a look. That a golden mind, referring to he himself. See, Morocco has a very high opinion about himself. We have seen that before also. And he says that I am a noble individual. I have a golden mind. So I will not stoop before, I will not lower myself before something so worthless as this lead box. So meaning is explained. A noble or golden mind does not lower itself to consider a worthless thing such as it appears. I'll then nor give nor hazard aught for lead. Therefore, I will neither give nor risk. Aught means anything. Neither give nor risk anything for lead. So he dismisses the lead casket. Now he moves to the next casket, which is in the middle. That is the silver casket. I'll then move to the, he moves to the silver casket. What says the silver with a virgin hue? What does this silver casket say? It has a virgin hue, meaning to say it has a pure color. Silver is whitish in color. So he says it looks so very pure. What does it say? Let me read. And then he reads the inscription on the silver casket also once again. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. Okay, so who chooses me is going to get only as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco. Well, it says as much as he deserves. I need to pause there. He says to himself, Morocco, pause there. Wait. Think and weigh thy value with an even hand, and then weigh your value with an impartial estimation. Judge yourself. How much are you worth? What is your worth? Judge that first. Be very neutral in judging and not biased, and judge yourself. If thou beest rated by thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough. Well, if you rate yourself in your own estimation with the help of your own judgment, if you try to judge yourself, then you can say that you have a good deal of merit. You deserve to get a lot. And yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. Yet your merit may not be sufficient to achieve this beautiful lady. Yet your merit may not be sufficient to achieve this beautiful lady. And yet to be afeard of my deserving were but a weak disabling of myself. Meaning is explained alongside. And yet to be ensured of what I deserve is a sign of weakness, which would bring discredit on myself. So if I start thinking that I deserve this lady and then I don't get her, so that would be absolutely wrong. And If I judge things on the basis of what I think I deserve, I may not be successful at times. So I should not do that. That will be a matter of discredit for me if I try to judge things on the basis of what I deserve, what I think I deserve. So, as much as I deserve, why, that's the lady. So, I should get as much as I deserve. Well, my deserving is the lady. But should I judge myself to think that I deserve her? I think I deserve her, but should I use my own estimation to judge myself, my worth, and then think whether I deserve her or not? That I should not do, but I am definitely sure about the fact that I deserve this lady. So, this is where we will stop for today. This is line number 31, and we will continue with the second part of the video of this on this scene in our next video. So that's it for now. I hope I have been able to make you understand. If there is any doubt, you can ask me in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.